This is the Louie Tee Network.
I'm ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
Overtime! So we head to overtime.
Who else could it be? For me, your man, Louie Tee. Welcome to Monday Night Football Overtime. The Oakland Raiders hosting the Houston Texans over in Mexico City, Mexico. Big game for the NFL as they continue to try to expand and continue on their international series. And so this is a game where they're trying to kind of feel out what the interest level is over in Mexico. They're trying to figure out if this is something that they can continue to do. They talked about the 3-game possibility moving forward for the next 3 years, a game in Mexico over the next 3 years. They're going to try to explore any and all avenues to expand the game and the interest in the NFL. But that's another discussion for another day. We're here to talk about Oakland Raiders football, Houston Texans football, and we will do that here in a second. Remember, this is the last telecast before I go on my bye week, so this is going to be quick, to the point. No likes, dislikes, banana in the tailpipe. I just jotted notes for this game, so I'm going to go through the notes, and I'm going to go through them very quickly. I'm going to get to some of your comments. I may not get to all of them. Again, I'm just looking to get to the bye week, man, healthy. I'm just trying to get out of here without any injuries, so this is going to be a quick telecast. I'm going to break this game down. We're going to get out of here. So it's going to be very fast-paced, in your face. You know how we do it here. So before we get to all of that, though, make sure that if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the Louie Tee Network. What are you waiting on, man? You know what time it is. We're changing the game over here. I want you to be a part of that. Only way you can be a part of that, though, is if you hit that red subscription button and subscribe to the Louie Tee Network for more great content in 2016 and beyond. We're changing the game over here. Want you to be a part of that. And again, this is a movement, okay? This is not just any old regular YouTube channel on the NFL. This is a movement over here, man. We changing the game. Want you to be a part of that. Hit that subscription button. Also, I'm on Twitter. Best way to keep tabs on this channel as to when I'm posting a video or when I'm going live is to subscribe to the YouTube channel. But also, and I think this may be actually a more efficient way, is to follow me on Twitter. @InTheLabRoom is the Twitter handle. If you want to chop it up, talk football, I'm on Twitter, @InTheLabRoom. Again, that Twitter handle is @InTheLabRoom. You can see all of my social media platforms right there in the box scrolling up above. And also I'm on Facebook. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. Go ahead and like that page. Again, I'm going to try to do some innovative things on Facebook a little bit later on in the season. Hopefully I can get that off the ground. Go ahead and get ahead of the curve. Like the Facebook page. Follow me on Twitter. And, of course, first and foremost, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Louie Tee Network. All right, so let's break this game down. And all I did was jot down notes, things that I saw in this game from both teams. Again, I got the bye week blues, man. I'm ready to go. And so I had to fight through this one because, man, I was ready to say, hey, man, you know what? They're not going to miss this. I can just go ahead and go to sleep. I said, no, man. I gave them my word I was going to break these primetime games down, and that's what I aim to do. So we're going to break this game down. We're going to start with the victors in this game, the Oakland Raiders, and what they did in the first half of this game. And, again, it's not likes, dislikes, banana and tailpipe. It's just me giving you analysis of what I saw, me just jotting down some notes as things transpired in this game. So some of the notes may be out of place, but I'll kind of bring it all together and make it make sense for you as I go through these notes that I took for both teams. So we'll start with the Raiders in the first half and the notes that I jot down first half of this game. I said Raiders defenders slipping early. The Texans made some plays early on. It's a bad Texans offense. I expected the Raiders to be able to really dominate this game because I felt like, yes, the Texans have a really good defense, and I knew that coming in. But I said this Texans offense is so bad that this Raiders defense may be able to generate some turnovers, and we'll talk about the opportunities that were wasted that the Raiders had in this game that they didn't take advantage of. And I thought they would have some opportunities to maybe get some short fields and score on this Texans defense. And I thought they'd be able to get off the field early and often against this Texans offense. And early on, the Texans, surprisingly enough, were converting on third downs. That first possession, they converted on the first 2 third downs in the game, especially the out to Nuke, which was improperly ruled out of bounds. We will talk more about that and some of the really bad calls that went against the Texans in this football game. But on the first 2 third downs of the game, DJ Hayden slips on one. Then you've got another defender slipping on another third down. I want to say it was Malcolm Smith. So Raiders defenders having some trouble keeping their footing. And you know, Mexico City, not the best footing there. And they actually showed players changing cleats to the longer cleats because, again, not the best field conditions. And we've seen that in these international games over in London, not the best footing in that field. And if it gets wet, God forbid it rains, it's just that much harder to plant over there. And so you saw Raiders defenders slipping early, and I thought it was some costly slips as guys were making some plays for the Texans. Derek Carr sharp early, had a touchdown to Jalen Richard on a great stutter move to the inside. It's just a choice route, essentially. Option route, arrow route, you call it what you want. He wins one-on-one with Bernardrick McKinney, gets into the end zone. But I thought Carr, for as sharp as he was, missed an opportunity for a big play to tight end Clive Walford on a rail route up the sidelines. He throws it, Derek Carr has that little flip he does. Sometimes he doesn't really put the football where it needs to be. And that was one of those situations where he just underthrew it, just a little flick of the wrist like he always does. Football ended up behind Walford. It's actually a really good catch by Walford to catch it, stay in bounds. But if he throws that on the money and allows him to run under it, I don't know if there's a Texans defender there. And we saw some breakdowns defensively from this Texans defense in this game. So I'm not sure if there was a Texans defender over the top. I don't think Walford scores. I'm not saying that because he's not a fast guy. But I think that game might have been 24. That could have had 50 yards written all over it if that football is delivered where it was supposed to be. But in any event, Derek Carr was perfect on the first drive and a half. I think he didn't have an incompletion until the second drive, late into the third drive, I want to say, something along those lines when they had to settle for a field goal. So they were moving the football. Carr was sharp early, but I thought he missed an opportunity. They were up 10-3 after the touchdown to Jalen Richard. Or actually we're up 7-3 after the touchdown to Richard. Unable to turn the kickoff recovery into a touchdown. Look, if you want to ascend in the AFC conference as one of the best teams, and right now record-wise you are one of the best teams. As a matter of fact, you're tied with the Patriots for the best record in the AFC right now at 8-2. But if you want to actually be in the same breath as the Patriots, then this turnover here, this was a big boo-boo on the part of the Texans. That has to turn into 7. And I don't give a damn how good the Texans are defensively. That needs to be a touchdown. What the hell is that play where you've got a goddamn 315-pound guard in John Feliciano lined up in the slot, and you're running a bootleg out to that side, and he's running a sprint option out to the side of Feliciano, who's running a speed out? What the hell is that? Seriously, what are you doing? All right, that to me, that's being too damn cute for your own damn good, okay? I don't want to see no garbage like that. If I'm a Raiders fan, plays like that piss me off. That's a wasted snap. You got Krabs, who had a horrible game. You've got Amari Cooper. You've got Clive Walford. You've got so many different guys. Seth Roberts, Andre Holmes. You've got all these different targets you could go to, and you put a damn guard in the slot. Again, that just behooves me. Again, 10-3. Bad execution. Worst play call I've seen in quite some time. Again, Raiders getting extremely cute for no reason, having to settle for a field goal there. Big opportunity there to bust this game wide open. Again, the Texans don't score a ton of points. And you go with a really head-scratching play call that cost you an opportunity at a touchdown to settle for the field goal. Shalik Calhoun drops a pick 6. Yikes. Again, you want to be one of the upper echelon teams in the league, going to have to catch that ball. Simple as that. Brock Osweiler give you some opportunities in this game to really turn this thing into a rout, okay? If you score the touchdown on that last possession, it's 14-3. If he catches that pick, it's 21-3. This game is over. But the Raiders didn't want to do that this game. They wanted to make this game a lot harder than it needed to be. Look, the officials were already giving you handouts left and right. For you to not take advantage of these opportunities here, this game could have gotten out of control easily, and you just didn't want it to. And after he dropped that pick six, the Texans methodically moved the football down the field and got into the end zone and tied this game up. So not only do you not make that interception, not only do you not flip field position or potentially score on a pick six and bust this game wide open, but now you leave the door slightly ajar and the Texans go ahead and go in, and now this game is knotted up at 10. Malcolm Smith with an interception. Horrible decision by Brock Osweiler. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, but you get nothing. This is a football, 1st and 10, right before the half. Great scoring opportunity, midfield, and you go for it on 4th down and don't get it. Again, 4th and 2, and the Texans are one of the best teams in the league in stopping teams on 4th down. Up until that point, they had teams 0 of 6 on 4th downs versus them on 4th downs in those situations, and that made it 0 of 7 teams going for it on 4th down versus Texans defense. So again, wasted opportunity. You forced your second turnover of the first half, and you have 3 whole points to show for those turnovers, and both of those turnovers were in Texans territory. So you had great field position and weren't able to do anything with those turnovers for the most part. Very disappointing if you are the Oakland Raiders. Drops in the first half were rampant, and I thought they really hurt this Raiders offense. Seth Roberts with a couple of big drops, including a deep ball late in the first half that should have been caught. And this has been the story of Seth Roberts. He's either making a huge play, and he made a big one late in the game where he didn't even touch the football. Made a huge block on the Amari Cooper game-winning score. But this is what you get from Seth Roberts. Either he's catching the game-winning touchdown versus Tennessee or Tampa Bay, or he's scoring a touchdown versus Tennessee, I should say, or he's dropping the football. That seems to be the story of Seth Roberts this season. Either he's making a big play or he's making a boo-boo. But in any event, you don't expect Krabs to drop the football, but he had a ton of drops in this game. It just wasn't a good night for Michael Crabtree, as he had at least 4 drops that I can remember, maybe even more. But this wasn't one of his better efforts. But at the end of the day, it's 10-10 in a game that the Raiders should have been dominating at the halftime break with all the mistakes the Texans had made. But the Raiders simply weren't able to take advantage of opportunities laid right in their lap. And so instead of this game being 24-3 or 21-3 or something along those lines, it's 10-10. We're going to go to the Texans in their first half notes that I took. Nuke touchdown or no is what I put down in my notes. That was a touchdown, man. He did not step out of bounds. Thought it was a quick whistle by an official who didn't have a good view. The guy that was right there looking at it in front of the play didn't call it out of bounds. How is the guy behind the play that's back about 10 yards going to be the one to blow the play dead? Just a really sad state of affairs there. Really hurt the Texans in a game that ended up being decided by 7 points. It changes the whole way that game is called and conducted if you're the Texans, if you're the Raiders. It just changes the whole dynamic of the game if that's a touchdown. Instead, it turns out to be a field goal. Instead of a 60-yard touchdown, which it should have been, it was a 25-yard gain, and it's a bitter pill to swallow if you're a Texans fan early in this ballgame. 4th and inches from around midfield, and Bill O'Brien goes bitch on us and decides he's going to punt. And that's losing football, man. If you didn't take anything away from Sunday Night Football last night, Redskins, Packers, is that you needed to take this away. At certain points of the game, you got to be a head coach and you got to make ballsy decisions. And Jack Del Rio did it at the end of this game. He's been doing it all season. You got to be able to pull up your britches and say, you know what, I got big cojones and I'm going to show you right now. Your team, they don't score many points. And this is an opportunity early in the game, a little bit of momentum, to really take this game by the horns. Literally, you're the Texans, right? Take the game by the horns. Show the Raiders you're not playing around tonight, that they're going to have to be aggressive if they want to beat you. They can't be passive because you're not going to be passive. And that was a passive-ass decision by Bill O'Brien to punt on 4th and inches against a Raiders defense that's not known for stopping the run. Again, I just don't understand Bill O'Brien. I'm starting to turn against Bill O'Brien because a lot of the decisions that he makes, I don't agree with them. And I don't think he understands exactly what it means to be a head coach sometimes on that sidelines. I don't think he has really good game management skills. We'll talk about that a little bit later on as well. But in any event, they punt the football. Thought that was a bad decision and a poor choice at the time of the game. And again, scared money don't make money. And that's why the Texans find themselves in these spots, because they play scared a lot. And scared money don't make money. Tyler Ervin muffed the kickoff, and it leads to a field goal. He ended up hurting himself on the play, left the game, didn't return. He's been really disappointing this season. I had high hopes for Tyler Ervin. Coming out of San Jose State, I'm like, this guy's dynamic. I watched him at the Combine. I got really excited. I watched the tape. I broke him down, and I was like, this guy's going to be a difference maker this season. In his rookie year, he's going to do some things that are really going to help the Texans in his rookie season, whether it be out of the backfield catching the football on third downs, whether it be a guy that's a change of pace back that you put in the game like a Darren Sproles, whether he's on punts or kickoffs, he's going to be dynamic and he's going to help them, and he's been anything but this season. A lot of turnovers, a lot of muff catches on punts and kickoffs, and just really disappointing this season for Tyler Ervin. Doesn't mean that he's a bust or anything of the sort. Doesn't mean that he can't turn it around, but as of right now, I've been really disappointed in what they've gotten out of him thus far. A big run by Miller Lite leads to a B. Millie touchdown. This was a crazy sequence of events. So the Raiders give up a huge run, about a 50-yard touchdown run. Beautifully blocked. Osweiler changes the side of the run from the left to the right, and it proves to be a huge play that pays mega dividends as Lamar Miller Lite goes out of the gate, and he's gone. It seems like he's going to score, and then all of a sudden, that damn pylon cam catches him in the act of stepping out at the one, and that's when that pylon cam turns against you there. And so Texas just couldn't get a break with out of bounds and spotting the ball and all of those things tonight. And so that was actually a good call. He stepped out at the one. Then they have a crazy sequence where they lose about 5 yards on an Osweiler catch. Then they turn around and have a false start. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you guys really going to blow this? And then B. Millie shakes the draws off of a defender. I want to say it was David Amerson. Just left him in his wake. And they get the score there to knock the game up at 10. So nice turn of events there, because Brock Osweiler almost threw an interception. Should have thrown a pick six to Shalik Calhoun there. Calhoun, again, defensive end, you're asking him to catch the football out of space, not his thing. And Osweiler got away with one. He would get away with another one later on in the game. We'll talk about that. But speaking of Osweiler getting away with one, he did not get away with one here as he throws a bad interception to Malcolm Smith over the middle of the field. And again, I talked about this on the Raider program, The Will to Win. And if you haven't checked those boys out, like I said, if you're a Raiders fan, do yourself a favor. Go find that YouTube channel, Will to Win. That's 2 with the number 2. Will to Win. Those boys are awesome. They absolutely kill it. If you're a Raiders fan, they break everything down. Post-game press conferences, pre-game press conferences, weekly press conferences. They give you a daily scoop of the Raiders. I mean, they cover this Raiders football team like no other here on YouTube. So check those boys out. Now, I do a spot with them every week talking Raiders football and the upcoming opponent. And I talked about Brock Osweiler and his affinity for the tight end position. He loves throwing to the tight end. And I told them that in the breakdown. And I said, look, he's going to throw the football to the tight ends. If you're the Raiders, you need to key in on these tight ends because he's going to throw them the football. Those are his favorite targets. You saw it tonight. Fedoris probably had about a good 7 or 8 catches. Ryan Griffin probably had another 4 or 5 before he got injured. So he loves working the tight ends. And that was a situation where Will Fuller is screaming wide open over the middle on a dig route, and he decides to force it to the tight end Fedorowicz on a seam route. Just really bad decision there by Brock Osweiler. Predetermined. He had made up his mind where he's going with the football before the play even started. He didn't care about the coverage. He didn't care about what the coverage dictated and what he should do. He had already said what he was going to do, and he threw a pick because of it. And again, that's the maturation of Brock Osweiler. He's not there yet. He's not scanning the field and reading it. He's predetermining where he's going with the football, and he's making a decision and throwing the football, whether guys are open or not. That's the end of the first half for the Texans. They find a way, though, to get that stop after the interception. Big 4th and 2 stop. Teams at that point 0 for 7 on 4th downs versus the Texans on defense, going for it on 4th down. So Let's go back to the Raiders and go to the second half notes that I took for the Raiders. Remember, 10-10 score going into the second half. First possession, Derek Carr with a hideous interception. And I talked about this, and I've been saying this all season long, and I've been saying it on the Will to Win. I've said it on all my programs that the Raiders, with Derek Carr, you're going to get one throw a game that you're going to be able to pick off from Derek Carr. One. That's it. Generally speaking, you're going to get one moon ball from him where he just tosses it up and it's up for grabs. And this was it. A little bit of pressure from Clowney and Merciless on the play, and Derek Carr panicked. And we've seen him panic before in the past. He's a little bit better than that now, but he reverted to old Derek Carr here where he just threw it up. He didn't want to get hit, and he just let the ball go, and it's picked off by A.J. Boye. And so that's an ominous start to the second half for the Raiders. And DJ Hayden doesn't make it any better with a pass interference in the end zone. It leads to a touchdown. And that wasn't going to be a complete pass. He didn't need to hold him. He wasn't going to make it to that football, but that was an egregious hold by Hayden. I thought it was actually more holding than pass interference, but they called pass interference. Ball may have been in the air. Either way, they get it to the 1-yard line. Lamar Miller, a.k.a. Miller Lite, gets in, and it's 17-10 Texans after the interception by Derek Carr. Carr to Krabs for a PI, and the Raiders lead the league in forced pass interferences down the field. This is what Derek Carr does. I love the fact that he gives his guys an opportunity down the field to either win or to get a PI. And you only can get them if you throw them. And Derek Carr loves to push the football down the field, and so they get a huge pass interference. I didn't agree with the call. Thought the feet got tangled. Thought that was accidental contact, and that the feet got tangled, and it didn't need to be a flag. But they were looking to throw a flag. I think the play before, they felt like maybe the cornerback got away with a little something there. And to me, this was a makeup call. Didn't really agree with it. But in any event, Krabs had dropped the touchdown the play before, as a matter of fact, in the end zone. Made a great catch, got both feet down, and for some reason he didn't put the football away, tried to stop his impact with the ball, which is insane because it's going to come out when you do that. And so the very next play, Carr goes back to him again, and this was an off-schedule play in which Carr had extra time, points up the sideline, tells Krabs, hey, man, take it deep and I'll let it rip. And he does, and he's rewarded with a pass interference. But Texas defense holds strong again, forces the Raiders to kick a field goal, and so it's 17-13 at this point. Texans still in the lead. Then the play of the game, in my mind, the Raiders were stagnant offensively. They're down 20-13. They really don't have it going. We're in the fourth quarter now, and everything they've gotten in this game, they've had to work hard for it. Nothing has come easy, and then you get a 75-yard strike. It seemed like out of nowhere, just like that. Jameis Olawale wide open, and one man to beat. He makes the safety miss, off to the races. He's not an ordinary fullback, folks. This is a different breed here. And he's gone. 75 yards, just like that. Game knotted up at 20. Huge play for the Raiders because, like I said, at that time, they had 140 total yards through 3 quarters. They were struggling offensively. That got them going. And after that, they were a different offensive football team in this game. And once they got even, you felt like you knew that they were leaving at that point. You said if they ever catch up with the Texans in this game, they're going to win. And once they got even at 20 all there, I said, okay, they're going to catch them and they're going to pass them. And that's what happened. And the next drive was a bunch of big plays, or 2 to be exact. You get a huge check down to Latavius Murray, and there is no one around. Again, another busted coverage by this Texans defense. That Jameis Olawale 75-yard touchdown, busted coverage. Remember, earlier in the game, there was a busted coverage. And so they had some big plays given up. And on the next drive, Cooper with the touchdown after the huge 39-yard catch and run by Murray sets up Cooper on just a simple out route. It really was more of a block. It was almost like a screen of sorts because Seth Roberts was running up the field and blocking immediately. And great run after the catch by Amari Cooper. When the ball's in the sky and your QB needs a guy, it's somebody. Caught the football, stopped on a dime. And remember, this is a very slick field. Bernardrick McKinney, the linebacker, goes sliding in like a bowling ball and knocks down about 2 defenders. And Amari Cooper cuts it up outruns the safety, gets into the end zone. Man, was that beautiful or what? That ended up being the game-winning score. Raiders take the 27-20 lead. Again, another opportunity for the Raiders to put this game away, put it on ice, and run away with this thing. David Amerson drops another offering by Brock Osweiler. Early in the game, it was Shalik Calhoun who had an opportunity to really turn this thing around. Here's Amerson with an opportunity, again, forcing the football to a tight end in a spot where he shouldn't be going to the tight end with the football. But again, Osweiler loves his tight ends. And so right there, opportunity for Amerson to make a play to put this game away, drops the football. Luckily enough for him, the Raiders get a stop, a controversial one at that, but they get the stop later on in the game to preserve the victory. And so Jack Del Rio rolling the dice again late in the game. I thought he should have punted. I really thought this was a spot where you look at Brock Osweiler and you say, he's not driving 80 yards for a touchdown to tie this game up. They have no timeouts. Punt the football, put these boys out of their misery by punting it. But they said, no, we're going to put these boys out of their misery, all right, by going for it on 4th and 1. And Latavius Murray picks up about 8 or 9, and that sealed the deal. Del Rio, once again, rolling the dice. And again, when it comes up nice, no one's going to question you. We're going to all give you credit for being ballsy. What a great, gutsy call. If it doesn't work, everyone's going to point the finger and scrutinize Jack Del Rio in that situation. I thought they should have punted, but it worked out. And as long as it works, I don't have a problem with it. Raiders hold on and get the win 27-20. Let's go to the Texans and talk about the second half notes and things I saw from them in the second half. Clowney and Merciless get pressure on Carr. Talked about that already. Lead to the A.J. Boye interception. Speaking of which, Clowney and the red zone defense were impressive to me. And I put that down in my notes. Clowney was a man possessed tonight. They could not block Jadeveon Clowney in this game, whether it was in the run game, pass game. He was harassing the Raiders offense all night long. And the red zone defense, give the Texans some credit. They got down there a couple of times, forced the Raiders to have to kick some field goals. Really, both teams did a pretty good job in the red zone. Texans had to settle for a couple of field goals when they were in the red zone as well. So actually both teams had success getting stops in the red zone and forcing the opposition to kick field goals in the red zone. Texas go for it on 4th and 1, which they should have did in the first half. I think Bill O'Brien realized that he missed an opportunity in the first half to go for it, decided to go for it in the second half, and they convert, and they wind up scoring a touchdown on that drive. You get a touchdown on a 1-yard Lamar Miller run after the pass interference on DJ Hayden. So, again, scare money don't make money. I thought that should have been the same decision that you made in the first half. Why wait until the second half to make that kind of gutsy call? Do it in the first half, too. And so it paid off this time around, and now it's a ball game where the Texans lead 17-10. Failed red zone 3rd and 1 situation. They go bootleg, and they run Brock Osweiler out to the sideline. They try to do, they call it the O-ish pass back in the day where, and you know what, it wasn't the O-ish because he didn't fall down. That's more of the, this is just more of a throwback pass where you're trying to kind of, they called it a slip pass to the tight end, where you try to sneak the tight end out. He blocks on the front side of the play and then sneaks out to the back side. But the Raiders played it well. Reggie Nelson was on the backside of that play, waiting, stayed at home, did his job. And so Osweiler had nowhere to go. Why not run it on 3rd and 1? Have the Raiders showed you any ability to stop you running the football on 3rd and short in this game? What made you think that you couldn't pick up a yard there? Again, Bill O'Brien, George Godsey being special. I have so many nits to pick with those guys this season. They've been horrible in play calling and game management. Bill O'Brien has been one of the worst coaches this season in that department. They continue to fail their team again with that play call. I thought they should have run the football again. They hadn't stopped Jay Prosh. They hadn't stopped Lamar Miller in short yardage situations the entire game. Hell, you got a 6'8" quarterback. How about a quarterback sneak? Again, don't ask me. I don't know. It's just what the Texans have been doing this season. Then you have the defensive breakdown. I mean, for all of that, you're still up 20-13. You got this game right where you want it, and the first play of a drive, you give up a 75-yard touchdown strike. Everything you worked for, you had to work hard for it in this game. Everything that you worked for was gone in one fell swoop, literally in 9 seconds. It went from a 20-13 lead to 20-all, and at that point, you knew the Texans were in desperate, dire straits in this football game. But you did get a nice return on the ensuing kickoff by Akeem Hunt. I really like this guy. I put in my notes, like him. I really like this guy. I told you that last week when you played against Jacksonville that I said I want to see more Akeem Hunt. This guy's dynamic. He's explosive. Great kickoff return there. He had one man to beat, and if he would have beat that one defender, he might have been gone out of the gate. And I like Akeem Hunt. I want to see him touch the football some more. Texans being jerked around in this game. I put that in my notes here. The spots of the football on that last possession, that real last threat that the Texans had with the game knotted up at 20 apiece, I just thought the officials jobbed them there. I mean, my goodness. First of all, Bill O'Brien, he's clueless. I put that in my notes as well. On the first third down ball spotting that was horrendous, challenge that. Don't just say, okay, it's inches, we should be able to get it. No, I want my damn first down. We earned that first down. His knee is down. The football is literally even with the marker. There's nothing to talk about. It's a first down. The line of game was met. Challenge that. No, he doesn't challenge it. He lets them go for it on fourth down. They get screwed again because it's another first down. I don't know what these officials are looking at. I don't know how they're mis-spotting the football, but they did it again. And the part that is so frustrating here is that they go to the replay monitor and still get it wrong. That is hard to do. The officials, I thought, were really bad in this game, and they really hurt the Texans. And I don't want to say they cost them the game, but, man, they did a number on the Texans. They really made it tough for the Texans to win this football game. That being said, though, O'Brien, I thought, just really botched that whole process. Challenged the third down play. They jerked you on the fourth down play. They jerked you both times. That's tough. And that's a bitter pill to swallow. And then Brock Osweiler tries to throw another interception late. David Anderson can't catch. And Bill O'Brien being scared again. It's a situation where you got one timeout left. Okay? You mismanaged a couple of situations. Got to burn a timeout on offense. Then you got to burn another timeout on a challenge that I actually thought you should have won. But okay, you didn't win. Now you got one timeout left. You know how I feel about second half timeouts. And because you've wasted two of them now, guess what you can't do with 3 minutes left in the game? Down 7. You can't punt the football. Not on 4th and 1. You have to go for it. Did you not learn anything in the first half? Obviously, you didn't. Because you went for it in the second half, and then you didn't go for it in the fourth quarter. So you go for it in the third quarter. It works. You score a touchdown on that possession. Then you don't go for it in the most critical juncture of the game. You decide to punt. You bitched up on me again. Again, Bill O'Brien, I'm telling you, he's a guy that has botched in-game situations all season long. He and George Godsey have been horrible at play calling. I'm really starting to turn sour on Bill O'Brien. This game did not do him any favors in my eyes. Thought he was horrible. His game management was horrible. His decision-making was horrible. Some play calling in some crucial spots, horrible. He doesn't know when to I remember a game up in New England early in the season when they got blanked, where the punter had to come over and tell him, hey, they fumbled the ball and they just got 8 yards. You need to challenge it. He had no clue what had happened. He had no clue that he needed to challenge and that the guy clearly was down and it wasn't a fumble and the Patriots just had the football advanced 8 or 9 yards when they should be back at their own 19 instead of at the 28-yard line. So he throws a challenge flag and he wins. He had no clue. Shane Leckler had to go over there and say, hey, man, you should challenge that. Bill O'Brien is clueless on the sidelines. This guy has no clue what the hell is going on, what he should or shouldn't do. And it's a farce that the Texans are even in first place in their division because this team has been poorly mismanaged. This defense is so good. They are so good, and it's a shame that the offense stinks and the head coach and the offensive coordinator stink. And so they don't get the job done in this game. Raiders do. And the better team won. Let's face it. For all of the bad calls and all of the things that should have went in the favor of the Texans and didn't, they deserve to lose this game because Bill O'Brien is a horrible manager of the game, and the better team won. The Raiders are the better team, and they got the job done. And it wasn't pretty. This was not a good performance by the Raiders. Dropped passes, missed opportunities. They had opportunities to blow the Texans out in this game, and they didn't. And so they shouldn't be too excited about this win, but it's a win nonetheless, and that's what it's all about. Just find a way to win. The good teams in this league, they don't play their best, and they still find a way to win. That's what the Raiders did in this game. getting the 27-20 win over in Mexico City, taking their record to 8-2 on the season. Texans drop to 6-4, and they're going to still win this division, or are the Texans. Andrew Luck most likely going to miss the Thanksgiving game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. That means they're going to lose if Scott Tolzien has to start. They're going to find a way to win by default because nobody else in this division is any good. The Colts are going to drop to 5-6 after they lose to Pittsburgh on Thanksgiving if Luck can't play. The Tennessee Titans aren't ready yet. They're probably the biggest threat to them, but they're not ready yet. They're still a year away from being a true contender, but nonetheless, the Texans are going to find a way to win this division at like 9-7 because nobody else is good enough to win this division. So they're going to have to win it, and they're going to go home in the first round like they did last year, and it's not going to be pretty. Somebody's going to mollywop them. It may be the Chiefs again. Who knows? We'll see. But in any event, let's get to a couple of your comments, and we'll get out of here. I've talked too much already as it is. So let's get to some of your comments, see how you guys feel about this game. And like I said, I'm not going to get to all your comments. I'm going to get to as many of them as I can. It's 12:47. I'm going to go until 1 o'clock. So I'm going to read 13 minutes worth of comments, and then we are done. So with that being said, all right. Andrew Kim says, who wins the AFC South with the Texans and Titans losing and the Colts winning? Also, I think the Raiders win the AFC West, even though the rest were horrible or terrible, in his words, tonight. I already answered the question of who's going to win the AFC South. Texans are still going to win this division by default. Referees were absolutely horrendous in this game, and they've been pretty bad this season in general. And I still think the Chiefs have a shot at winning this division, even though this is a really bad loss to Tampa Bay. The Raiders are in the driver's seat. They are in the driver's seat. They just got to take care of business, but that's easier said than done. They've had a lot of home cooking. They've played both the Broncos and the Chiefs at home. They got to go to both of those teams later on in the season, and the Chargers are no pushover, and they played them at home as well. So they're done with their home division slate. They've got all road games left in the division at Kansas City, at Denver, and at San Diego. So that's going to be really tough. So I'm not ready to concede anything to this Raiders football team just yet. They got some tough games left, Buffalo and Carolina. Who knows what Panthers team is going to show up, but one thing's for sure, nothing's a given for this Raiders team, as we saw tonight. Bernard543 says, I'm still mad. Yeah, we won and shit, but this defense is just straight horrendous. They weren't that bad tonight, but at times you made a Texans offense that has been inept all season look like it was really competent, and that's pretty hard to do. So from that standpoint, yeah, you should be a little disappointed, but I didn't think the defense was that bad tonight. I just didn't think they were that good. There were opportunities to make plays. Shalik Calhoun has a pick six in his hands. You know, who knows? Maybe David Anderson picks that off and takes it to the crib too. There's only one receiver right in front of him with another Oakland Raider defender right there. If he's able to stay on his feet, he's gone to the house. So the Raiders had opportunities in this game. They just didn't take advantage of them. All right, we're going to move on. Let's see what else we got. Smoke says, we had opportunities to win this game, but we should have went for it on fourth down. And then that's the story of your season. Bill O'Brien is a genius, and not in a good way. He's an ignoramus is what he really is. And he's just too conservative. And it's amazing that he's as conservative as he is, because I understand when you don't trust your offense, you know, when you don't trust your quarterback and all that stuff, and you trust your defense more than you trust your offense. But he came from New England. Bill Belichick is the king of rolling the dice. And I get it. He has Brady. I get it. But still, 4th and inches? Come on, man. The Raiders haven't stopped you all night in short yardage situations. I don't get it. I don't get it. Peter Martinez. Yo, did King Krabs pack his hands for the trip? Nah. He left those bad boys back in Alameda. Those bad boys did not make the trip. He was dropping the football all over the damn place. It was bad, man. I'm not used to seeing that from Krabs, but he had a rough one tonight. No doubt about that. Bernard543 says, the resilience of the Raiders is what really is impressive to me. Should be. They were resilient tonight. A lot of things went their way. Some things didn't go their way. They could have folded the tent. They were down 20-13. They had nothing going offensively. And boom, just like that, 75 yards later, this game's knotted up, and all of a sudden the Raiders are alive, and they scored, 14 points in the fourth quarter and win this football game. And that's what good teams in this league do, and that's the resiliency that you mentioned there. Very impressive. Smoke says, quarterback needs to get better at his game management. Yeah, he does, but also the head coach needs to be better at his game management. He's horrible. He sets the tone for the rest of the team, and his game management is horrendous right now. Andrew Kim says, of course, I think I make a bold pick for the week and still get 9 wins. At this rate, I don't know if I'll ever make it to the upper room since it was once in week 3 and tuning in week 2. Look, this was an easy week. I don't know how you didn't make it to the upper room, Andrew. I don't. I told you last week that this was an easy week, and I told you I expected nothing less than 11 wins. I got 12. It was only lost 2 games, and I think most people should have only lost 2 games. Should have lost the Kansas City Tampa Bay game. Should have lost the Cincinnati Buffalo. And if you were smart enough to get away with Buffalo there, you probably picked somebody that you had no business picking, like a Tennessee or something in there. Either way, 2 losses was it this week. It was an easy week. I told you that in my picks show that I said, man, this is an easy week. I feel like this is a can't-miss week. If you do the right thing like Spike Lee, you're going to come out with at least 11 wins this week. And so for you to be 9, that means you tried to be special a couple of times and it came back to bite you. Andre Mogul says, like we always say, the good teams find a way to win. Raiders are for real. And that's what the bottom line, that's what it boils down to. Smoke says, Russ was tripping tonight, shaking my head. Yeah, they were horrible. They did a number on the Texans. And these were some really big calls in the game. It's one thing when they call hands to the face and give an automatic first down on 3rd and 8 when you're going to get off the field and force a punt. Yeah, those suck, but you still can get a stop. They took a touchdown off the scoreboard. They stopped them on 3rd down from getting a first down. Stopped them on 4th down when the game was tied at 20 in the red zone at the 13-yard line. These are some bad calls that cost the Texans an opportunity to win this football game. The referees were a joke tonight. Bernard543 says, El Chapo scared the refs. Maybe he did, man. Maybe he told them, if the Raiders don't win, we're coming after you, man. We're going to chop your bodies up in some small pieces and ship them to your family members. Maybe they had something going on because it was bad. Captain Spartan 04 says, is 11-3 bad this week? Nah, that's a good record. It's double digits. You dominated the week like you were supposed to. You should feel really good about 11-3. Andrew Kim says, Thanksgiving games. Who are you looking forward to Thursday? Of course, I'm looking forward to the first 2 games for sure. Both of those games have huge playoff implications in the NFC. The night game, not so much, especially if Andrew Luck doesn't play. That's going to lose a lot of its luster. But I'm looking forward to all of the games, to be honest with you, on Thanksgiving. Courage the Cowardly Dog says, as a Chargers fan, it pisses me off seeing this Raiders team and how healthy they are. A healthy Chargers team would be neck and neck with them. Yeah, the Raiders have basically been unscathed this season, and it's a part of the reason why they've been so good. And some of that is just luck of the draw, man. It's just by happenstance. One year you're healthy, the next you're not. And the Chargers are hurt and banged up every year, it seems like. They just can't catch a break. But knock on wood, the Raiders have been healthy this season, and if they can remain that way, they're going to have a chance. Cruising26 says, the Texans got robbed. They did. They got jobbed tonight. It wasn't the best foot forward by the officials. That being said, they still had opportunities in this game, and they didn't take advantage of it, but neither did the Raiders. So, the referees really did a number on the Texans, unfortunately. Alex Burndon says, Louie, love your analysis, bro. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Hashtag fins up, no doubt. Andre Mogul, said, even with the good production by the Texans offense, the play calling is so bad to me, and yes, the refs suck. Yeah, I told you I can't stand the game management by Billy O, and George Godsey and Billy O, they tag team together to really botch this offense week in and week out. And I really don't like the Texans because of their coaching staff right now. I'm not feeling their coaching staff at all. I don't like the way they manage the game. I don't like the way they call the game. And this was another game that I thought I don't want to say this is more of a Bill O'Brien problem here. I thought that he mismanaged this game, poorly managed this game. And you want to go down with no bullets left in the chamber. When you lose a football game, you want to be able to say, hey, I exhausted all options and I emptied the clip. And I think he went down with at least 8 bullets left in the gun of a 16 clip gun. I mean, the gun still had bullets in it, and I didn't think he fired off all of them tonight. And you always tell players, leave it all out on the field. You should be spent when you go to the locker room. I don't think that as a coach, he did enough to put his team in a position to win tonight. And week in, week out, I feel like he really leaves, as a wise man once told me, he leaves some meat left on the bone, man. I think he does that week in, even when they win. He leaves meat on the bone. And he left a lot of meat on the bone tonight, and the Raiders were able to chew off the rest of it and take the W. Bernard543 says, yep, defense is going to get exposed in the playoffs. You're probably right. But if you're the Raiders, you just want to get there. Get there, experience it. Nobody on your team, other than the free agent guys, but you got a young football team. These guys need playoff experience. They need to know what it feels like, the intensity, what it's going to take moving forward to perform at that level and get it done. Get to the playoffs. Get a number 1, get a number 2 seed. All right? Get in the playoffs and do some damage. And we'll see what happens. Kimbo_Raiders says, the Raiders finally got love from the refs. How do you feel about the refs called this game? The refs were horrible. And I've already made mention of that. They really did a number on the Texans in this game. You hate to say, the Raiders would have lost or the Texans would have won if this or that would have happened. But I will say this. The Texans would have had a much better shot at winning if the officials would have just done their jobs properly in this football game. All right. Alex Vernon, a guard in the slot. I just that was amazing to me. I thought the Raiders they really got cute there. What the hell was that about? I don't know. I don't know. Alex Vernon says, Louie, you the black John Gruden, bro. 100. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know if that's a compliment or not, but okay. That's my answer to that. Okay. Oh, man. I think that's a compliment. So, thanks, I guess. Question mark. In any event, 12:58. I think I got time for a couple more comments. Alex Vernon says, Brock Osweiler was overpaid by the Texans for only having 6 starts in his career. Shaking my head. That's what you got to do sometimes. When you don't have a quarterback, we saw the atrocity that was the AFC wildcard game last year where they get shut out at home. And Billy Ho threw, 4 or 5 picks in that game. They had to do something. Maybe not overpaying Brock Osweiler. Maybe overpaying Brock Osweiler wasn't the best thing to do, but they had to do something. And he was the best option available, and so they went after him. I still think that he can be a better quarterback than what you've seen this season because this is his first year of really being a guy, and it's a new system, and it's new terminology, and it's all brand new. And it's just going to take a while. And so I'm not really ready to bury him yet like everyone else is. Peter Martinez says, go Raiders, but the Skins look hungry. Yeah, we hungry, man, but are we hungry enough? We're going to find out on Thanksgiving if we're going to eat or not. And Andre Mogul says, I called it as soon as O'Brien didn't go for it on 4th and inches. I said, game over. Flip, game over. Yeah, it was over at that point. I said, you're not getting the ball back, man. I hope you know this. If you punt this on 4th and inches, which is what it essentially was, again, for the second time in this game, if you punt with 3 minutes left and 1 timeout, you're not getting the ball back. And Jack Del Rio, who isn't scared, ain't never scared, didn't do what Bill O'Brien did. He did the direct opposite and rolled the dice on 4th and inches, got the first down, and put those boys to sleep at 27-20. And with that being said, it is now officially 1 o'clock. I am out of here. And I'm going on my bye week. You guys enjoy your Thanksgiving. I'll be back for Thanksgiving football. But until then, I am going to rest up, enjoy all the festivities of Thanksgiving, all of the things that go into this holiday. I'm going to take it all in, enjoy this time off, and come back ready for that last end of the season push, that final stretch run. I'm going to be ready to hit the ground running. So for all of you out there that watched tonight, for all of you that commented, I thank you. And have a good one, man. Enjoy everything. You know how it goes. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it. All here in the lab room on the Louie Tee Network, Monday Night Football overtime. The Oakland Raiders get it done over in Mexico. 27-20 over the Houston Texans. Raiders run their record to 8-2 on the season. Meanwhile, the Texans drop 6-4. Both teams came into the game leading their divisions. Both teams leave the game leading their divisions. So nothing has really changed in either instance. Both teams still atop their respective divisions. So for me and everybody out there, I'm saying adios. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Enjoy the festivities, the family, the food, the football, the faith, and everything else that goes along with Thanksgiving. I'm your man, Louie Tee. I'm signing off. Remember, we're changing the game one live feed at a time. I will see you guys on Thursday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a good one.
Broncos won the Super Bowl when Peyton Manning retired. 49ers won 5 games and Tom Sula got fired. RG's in Cleveland and my Rams hit the West Coast. Be sleepless in Seattle cause that 12-man ain't beast mode. Oh yeah, I knew it was something I forgot to mention. Yeah, old Tom Brady about to get that suspension. Yeah, I know the Pats fans probably think that's whack. Yeah, but at the end of the day, your balls was flat. It's that time again. It's that time again to go hard in the offseason, cause we trying to win. We gon' go so hard, we don't take no days off. Hopefully one day it's all gonna pay off. Shout out your defense, they tissue cause they soft. Catch 'em while they sleeping, we gon' sneak in and play.